Namaskar. Hello and welcome to 𝗣𝙧𝙤𝙪 channel. I'm your host 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪. Joining me today is Sumit Peer, and we're going to talk about the evolving situation in and around Manipur. As expected, this is spilling over to the other states. For instance, you have a lot of Nagas in Mizoram, Manipur, as well as in Nagaland, and there is an increased clamor for NPR and NRC. What are these? Why it's essential now? What is the history? And the latest one where the Kukis want to bury 35 people who were killed, but they are not allowing them to be identified. What is it that's going on? To know all this and more, let's welcome Sumit Peer. But before that, please like this video. At the start of this, there were 37 of you waiting and there were only 16 likes. So may I please request you all to like this video. And now let's welcome Sumit Peer. Sumit ji, namaskar and welcome to 𝗣𝙧𝙤𝙪 channel.
Shri sir, namaskar, pranam, vanakkam, sadhuwa. Thank you very much for the invite. Always a pleasure. Right, sir.
So, Sumit my mistake. We missed out on the theme music at the beginning, and we will go on. We will, of course, play it at the end. Sumit first of all, this latest thing about wanting to bury 35, what they call as Kuki men, when they have essentially driven out all the Meites from that village on the 3rd of May. I have the data here. Nobody has refuted that. So I'm saying that this is what has really happened. So what exactly is going on? Who were the killed ones? Were they Meites or Kukis?
Shri sir, in the name of Lord Sri Ganesha, let's do the Sri Ganesha of this broadcast. Now, what we are seeing here is that with every passing day, the game is getting more and more and more exposed. The first and the most important thing what we have to realize here, what we have been saying on 𝗣𝙧𝙤𝙪 since last 2-3 months, we have always maintained it was never about Kukis and Meites. We have said that they have been living together for years. What happened suddenly wrong? We have said that there are external enemies and external countries which are involved. We had pointed to China. We had pointed to Arakan's army. And if you recall recently, Yogi Adityanathji's interview, he kind of said China without taking the name of China. So the things have become complex. Now, what we have been saying on 𝗣𝙧𝙤𝙪 months back and weeks back, now a lot of people have started saying the same thing. If you look at the mainstream media, national TV and all, they have now started talking about the Golden Triangle. I mean, we talked about the Golden Triangle way back. Now, what has really happened? I mean, remember our first broadcast on this Manipur a few weeks back, where I said Mahabharata was not about, Kurukshetra. Mahabharata only took place in Kurukshetra. So today the Mahabharata is not about Manipur. It is only happening in Manipur with the intention of taking it to the next level, to the next stage. We had predicted it will go to the other states soon. We had predicted the end game will be cutting up the chicken neck. We had predicted these illegal immigrants and Rohingyas and all will be activated at the right point of time. And exactly it is playing through the playbook. It is exactly going, Sri sir, on the same lines. If people can watch our last broadcast and watch over this, you'll see how, how clearly we had explicit all the things in a sequential manner and told you what is going to happen. Now, what is this Kuki and Maithi trouble all about? The main trouble is poppy. 15,441 acres of poppy land is finished by BJP government under Birendra Singh ji and Amit Shah ji. So that itself is a $300 to $600 million business. When you disrupt a $300 to $600 million business, people are going to get up. They are going to cause havoc. They are going to find reasons and excuses to, come to you. Now, what has been happening? First of all, if you look at the Kukis, now they are Indians today, if we look. But if you go back to the history, they were from Myanmar. I mean, they were not Indians by that meter. They were asked by the various previous dispensations, including that of Congress, to live in this Northeast, to stay there, so that somewhere down the line, the plan was always to change the demography of the Northeast, was to have it from a Hindu-dominated place to a Christian-dominated place. Unfortunate part of our Maithi brothers and sisters is they're Hindu. Now, if you see one of the latest, there was one of the latest videos which came out in the mainstream media, and the lady, the girl who's a Maithi is crying. He said, "No, you're talking about, these people from the parliament, when I.N.D.I.A, that alliance went there, why you are talking about what happened to those women? We condemn that on P-Gurus. We never support anything like that. But why it was brought up after 2 months? Why was the video kept in a cold storage for 2 months? You were waiting for the parliament to happen. So you come here. You are not letting the parliament to happen. You are not letting the government to answer. You are not ready to debate and discuss on the parliament. You are not ready to willing and look. You are not willing to look at the facts, and you want to come here to do what? Political tourism. Manipur is a beautiful place. I've been several times to North. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, we want to make a point.
Yes, because when you touched upon the opposition MPs visiting Manipur, there was one video that was very, very to the point by a Meites lady who told them, look, you all talk about the two women being paraded. What about the Meites lady who was burnt after being raped and the entire place was razed down? That May 3rd, there was an ethnic cleansing that took place, at least 2 or 3 villages. And we have been one of the first ones to say that and point it out to all of you. Some of you are asking, who is clamoring for this? Well, Nagas are clamoring for this. We are being constrained from showing you videos because for some reason the government wants to have some check on the videos because maybe they are afraid that wrong information is getting out. That is okay. We are, to understand where we are coming from. Everything is a fact here. You have to be, looking at Twitter. You have to be looking at Facebook. Then you will get the idea of what is really going on. There was ethnic cleansing. There is ethnic cleansing. The question that is an uppermost in many people's mind is, are these 35 people actually Meites? You cannot drive a complete tribe out without killing a few to instill the fear in their hearts. So are the Kukis really covering up here? What is really going on? Also, another thing that people keep asking, it's both sides are shooting. One side is using AK-47s and M16s from the hills. The other one is using pistols. 10 feet, 20 feet. Pistol is not accurate after that. You have to understand this whole thing, guys. Don't jump up and down. What I'm telling you is the Meites sitting in the valley are sitting ducks. I've been saying this again and again. Sorry to go on a rant here, Sumitji, but I want people to understand the lay of the land. The Kukis are immigrants. They have been coming over for a long time, and they have been aiding and abetting the drug trade. Not only that, the Rohingyas have also become carriers now. Myanmar needs to be checked, first of all, why they are letting their own people to get out. These are their responsibility, not India's, not Bangladesh's. So I don't know where that equation is. Maybe you can throw some light on that, Sumitji. But most importantly, the NPR and NRC, after you finish this line, please expand the difference between NPR and NRC also. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Now, so what if you look at, now if we go back to the situation, what is happening is that the lady was very clear in asking a few questions. The first question is, when a freedom fighter's wife was raped and burned, she was a Meitei, you did not bring that up. Why that is not a national issue? In the last hangout, I asked, if women are paraded naked, it's an issue. We all should be ashamed. But what about Meitei women? What about women in Jharkhand? What about women in Rajasthan? What about women in West Bengal? Why only one issue is made a national issue? Why you are not letting government to debate this in the parliament? How do you conclude that 2.5 hours of debate is not good for this issue to be explained? You are not letting the question to get cleared. And not only that, now today what has happened before the G20, now Washington Post, New York Times and some of these international publications, they've already started talking. The infamous award-winning journalist of India as seeing that the India is burning with communal hatred and violence before G20 leaders are supposed to come in. Sir, cabal shuru ho gaya hai. Cabal is in its full motion. I mean, we had predicted that exactly this is going to happen. They will say India is burning, G20 is happening, communal clashes in India, then you have Manipur here, you have Mewat happening here. Look, India is a dreadful house, everything is out of order. These Hindus are very dangerous. They are, they are going after Christians, they are going after Muslims, they are going after Jews, they are going after Sikhs, they are going after everything. That is what they are exactly trying to say. She said, you wanted to make a point.
Sumiji, and I also want to tell our viewers, the circulation of Washington Post, New York Times is dwindling down to thousands now, from hundreds of thousands. Nobody reads news anymore. These people are completely intellectually bankrupt. So the intelligentsia in India needs to wake up. Everything West says doesn't have to be true. They've all been captured. Okay, so please understand this. Don't care about what these newspapers write. They're not even worth wiping your bottom with when you don't have tissue paper. I'm assuming for the people on the West Coast, in the West. Okay, it's not even been used for that. So please understand the weightage that people are giving to these rags. That's all they are. Maybe when you're changing oil in your car, you'll use that to capture all the oil so it doesn't go and spill on your driveway. So this is the value of these newspapers. So please don't we are needlessly the BBCs of the world, the Guardians of the world, the New York Times, Washington Post. I'm sure there are many others who do the same kind of thing. Al Jazeera, for example. All this is worthless piece of excrement. Right. Please go ahead.
Now, I want to make one point adding on to what you said. I did once a program, somebody asked me, New York Times is such a big paper, दैनिक जागरण is such a big paper. Sumit ji, what are you talking? How come you are questioning them? I told them, look, my brother, all these your favorite buddies put together, when you look at the circulation number, दैनिक जागरण and दैनिक भास्कर has 10 times more circulation than them, and they are UP-based papers. 10 times. All them put together, 10 times more than that is दैनिक जागरण and दैनिक भास्कर. They're UP-based newspapers. So don't even talk about their authenticity and whatever their impact is. They are losing money. They are dying organizations. And look who are the people who are owning them. Why would somebody like Jeff Bezos put $200 million to buy a failing newspaper? Obviously, the agenda is political. You want to use it as a political tool as per your conveniences, as per your political, economical gains. That is what exactly is done. So this New York Times and Washington Post finds nobody intellectual in a country of 1.4 billion except famously infamous Rana Ayub. I mean, she's trying to set the narrative there. It was exactly in P. Guru's we reported, look, but soon she will start saying, oh, Muslim genocide. And exactly it is walking, what we had kind of predicted in the last hangout. It is exactly going in like a cakewalk. It's exactly going that way. Now, the women, going back to our discussion, the women questioned few questions. They are not questioned. Meites women were raped for 2 years. No question. Meites women have been abducted. No questions. Meites have been killed. No question. Golden Triangle access. No question. 15,441 hectares of poppy eliminated. No questions asked. Amit Shah ji, couple of days back, said we have burned in front of him, just around week 10 days, 10 lakh kilos of drugs, 10 lakh kilo drugs. 10 lakh kilos of drugs were burned with worth thousands of crores. Biggest drug hauls are being caught in India, and you know where does this drug money go. Now, this was going to fund all them. And then Myanmar, these Rohingyas are doing the job, these Kukis are doing the job. You know the Golden Triangle. We have talked to you about the Arakan's army. These weapons, which are precisely sharpshooting weapons, where do they come from? Who gave them the training? Who taught them how to use them? Arakan's army. China's role is now amply clear when we talked about that. People always thought it's a Meites-Kuki conflict. No, it was never a Meites-Kuki conflict. When these things are questioned, the lady is rightly, my sister was rightly questioning them. What are you doing here? Your job is to go and sit in the parliament and discuss this and come up. He said Prime Minister Modi ji is trying to protect us. He has protected our land, and there are videos out on the social media which clearly talk about Kuki women saying we want to only cultivate poppy. I mean, what a brazen denial of the law. We want to cultivate poppy. I mean, that is what is happening here. When all these things are stopped, it was always about poppy business. It was always about Golden Triangle. It was about China. It was about Arakan's army. And look at the population density of Manipur. And look at the population density of UP. If Meites get scheduled tribe status, how does it alter anything? I mean, it is hardly populated state. The population density is not even 1/10th or 1/20th or 1/100th of UP. And when in UP so many people can live, why this many people cannot live in Manipur? It was always about controlling the drug routes. We told you in P. Guru's last time, it's all about controlling the drug routes. Whoever controls the hills controls the drug routes. Now, Myanmar has a very active role to play because they have been going here, coming back. There was a provision when it's 16 kilometers they can go and 16 kilometers we can come here. Myanmar is controlled by junta. Junta is very, very loyal to PRC, People's Republic of China. And the balancing force in 𝙒𝙗𝙗 province is the Arakan's army, which they can use against India, they can even use against junta, push comes to shove. That is why China has been cultivating Arakan's army. Now you see, similarly, it is spreading to other parts of the country. You see, Meghalaya we have seen, Nagaland we have seen, Mizoram we have seen it going here and there. So it is spreading, right? Here we have activated Mewat in Haryana. And you might see something very soon happening in South or something very soon happening in West. If you see that, don't be surprised. It is all an orchestrated design which is happening. Now, the question here is, if you look at it, now we have read that the government of Manipur has asked for, biometrics of these illegal immigrants to do their biometrics. Now, if you go into this history, before we touch the biometric, but I want to come back to the Srisha's question, which I missed. You see, these 35 people, we don't know who they are. They are Kukis, they are Meites, maybe they are Meites, maybe they are Kukis. Now they want to bury them in the Meitei heartland. Why? Because Kukis have ample space, they have ample land. Why do you want to come and bury if they are Kukis by any chance in the Meitei heartland? Why do you want to do that? Because tomorrow you can claim mass graves are being found. Look, mass graves are found. It's because of these Kukis are so violent, you can see the mass graves. Mass graves will take it to a different level, to a different stature. Genocide. The word is genocide. When you find a mass grave, you can quickly relate it to the genocide. That is why they are not letting these victims to be identified. That is why they are not letting these victims to be buried in proper burial grounds or wherever these are. Why they are insisting the Kukis, if they are Kukis, they will be buried in the Meitei heartland. This is because at the right time, the evidence will be shown. Look how Christians have, there's a genocide of Christians happening in India. And Modi government and the BJP government in Manipur has facilitated through Hindu Meites. And why are Kukis writing to Benjamin Netanyahu? We showed you last time. Why are they talking about, this poppy? What is their relation with junta? What is their relation with Arakan's army? Why is Myanmar border guard so, so complacent with them? Why women are going in front of the Assam Rifles regiment and, stripping clothes? This has happened there. Why women are getting naked and trying to prevent, Indian army from doing the job? Why automatic? Where are the automatic weapons coming from? Last time I also asked you one question. Who is holding Indian army for last 1.5 months? 1.5 months Indian army is fighting them. Where is the ammunition coming from? Do you think a terrorist carries ammunition for 1.5 months of gun battle with Indian army? What is Parasab doing there? What are Marcos doing there? I asked all these questions, and these questions remain equally relevant today. And now the things are getting more and more and more clear. Now, what do we need? What do we need is what we are doing late. What should have been done earlier is NPR, National Population Register, or NRC, wherein what you do is you kind of have a database of your citizens, state-wise, religion-wise, everything, so that you are able to know that this person is a native Indian or not. You can come and fudge some documents here and there and say I'm an Indian. But when the NPR and NRC is there, your roots will be traced. That are you native Indians? Are you imported, or have you smuggled into the country, or have you been smuggled into the country? So we will be able to differentiate this. So if you look at Biren Singh ji, if you look at everybody, need of the hour.
Excuse Sumit. What is the difference between NPR and NRC?
You see, NPR is a nationwide thing, wherein at a nation level, you will maintain a population register. And where some of our friends have been saying, "Hum kakas nahi denge." It is the same thing. NRC might happen at a state level, at a state, when the state is able to maintain its own population register. Then all these state population registers will go into a national population register, right? So when the importance here is, Srisar, is to identify the roots of the people. Identify people are Indians by birth, by, infiltration, by legal immigration, by smuggling. Where do they come from? Now, what I know, or I think it is already being done or it will be done. Today what happens in India, it's very important to understand the people. Now, if some of you will know already, if you have a child born in India today, what will you do first? First, you have to make an Aadhaar card. Aadhaar card means biometric. Aadhaar card means Maap ka Aadhaar card, Baap ka Aadhaar card, mother's Aadhaar card, father's Aadhaar card, and biometric of the kid. So when this will go, you will get an Aadhaar card and a number based on the mother, father, biological mother, father, right? And the kid. So you have to already think of a name. Let's say the name is Sunil. Aadhaar card will come name Sunil. The papers are sent by the hospital where the kid is born. Now, once you get the Aadhaar card, sir, then only your birth certificate is made. They have reversed the process. Earlier, you could get the birth certificate made, then go and start making the Aadhaar card. So then some Mukhia of the village will write, "Ha, paida hua," and all that. They could do it. Now, without the birth certificate, without the Aadhaar card of mother and father, the Aadhaar card of kid cannot be, newborn baby cannot be made. So once the newborn baby ka Aadhaar card is made, then the birth certificate is made. It takes some 10-15 days to come up, depending from state to state. Once that is made, once that is made, now this is the document that your parents are Indian, you by birth are an Indian citizen. Now what I know and what is being talked, it is done or it is already will be done in some point of time. I'm not sure on that. But there's a bill which is proposed by the government wherein everything will be linked to your birth certificate, not to your Aadhaar card, to your birth certificate. So that means if you are an Indian or an Indian citizen, your Aadhaar card is not good enough. You must have a birth certificate which validates that. Now, you cannot fudge the data because once your Aadhaar card is made, then birth certificate banki. Today, for all our newborn babies for last 8, 10, 12 years, especially after Prime Minister Modi has come into power, so their birth certificate is based on the Aadhaar card, which is given to them before the birth certificate. And the Aadhaar card given to the kid is based on the Aadhaar card of mother and father. So now in this system, it's a fail-proof system. Like your train, if you try to open the pipe of the train, the vacuum is broken and the train stops. So it's a system which works against the fail. You cannot fail the system works against the fail. So this is where the beauty of the system is coming. Soon some legislation will be brought in where everything will be linked back to the birth certificate. So that means I will somewhere down the line have a birth certificate in India. My father will has identity. So if somebody has immigrated, you can produce some Aadhaar card or maybe fetch some data here and there, but where will you produce a birth certificate? What will happen to your father and mother's identity? Kakas kahan se dikhaoge? That is why the minority community was objecting, hamare paas kakas nahi hai. Hum kakas nahi dikhayenge. But when it comes to relief, when it comes to rehabilitation, when it comes to government schemes, tab sab kakas dikhate. Then everybody shows the papers. But when it comes to NPR and NRC, then they don't want to show the papers. They say, "Hamare paas paper nahi hai. We don't have kakas nahi hai." Now, if we would have got that implemented in Northeast, that these Kukis who were here at the time of partition, who came later on, who have recently come in, who is a Rohingya, who is a Bangladeshi, who is a Myanmari. So these all could have been differentiated. And now that time has come that NRC and NPR should be implemented across the India. I have been demanding it for long, sir. It should be implemented across the India. Because in Mewat, if you see, for example, there are a lot of such elements which have infiltrated the society. We don't know who they are. I mean, it doesn't mean, if anybody can speak Hindi and looks like me, does he mean he's an Indian? Then Seema Haider can also speak Hindi. Then what is wrong with Seema Haider? Hindi bol leti hai. She can speak Hindi. She looks like me and you. Then does that mean she's an Indian? Sri sir, you had a point to make.
Sumitji, whatever this thing that we are saying about linking, right? When the government starts taking census, and most likely it will be after the 24 elections. 21 तो छूट गया, अब 3 साल लग जाएंगे, कोई बात नहीं. But whenever they are going to do that, why doesn't the government line up its ducks? Meaning, what is the information I need? Because they will be reaching every person residing in India. See, I'm choosing my words very carefully. Residing in India. I'm not saying every person who's a citizen of India. Census is taken of people who are residing. Now, they should be able to weed out the questionable ones from the real ones. And this NRC exercise, you don't need to have them to say, come show your papers. When census is taken, where the government goes to your house, they should be able to have relevant paper information on who is there, who belongs where, when did they come there. And once you have that gray list, which will be those who are of, perhaps other countries, those people can be, 7 show cause notice and action can be taken. This is a need of the day. This is really, really needed. I hope the government leaves no holes when they do the census, and at that point they collect all the data and that should be it. So please go ahead.
So I want to make one point here. You see, a lot of people, when Aadhaar card was brought into the India, they objected to it. Nahi chahiye Aadhaar card, nahi chahiye. You know, Mr. 𝗒𝙗𝙤𝙤 and all say it is infringement into the personal life and space. While in America and all, you all have a national security number. And, you know, I used to live in US, Singapore and Europe. I had this FIN number, or, you know, my temporary, you know, number which was given to me. Now, I don't know why Aadhaar cards were objected, and slowly what the government has done, which we don't realize. First, then Aadhaar and PAN linkage was done. Dekhiye, sequentially. Aadhaar and PAN linkage was mandatory, right? Aadhaar and bank account has to be linked, mandatory. Aadhaar and gas and connection has to be linked, mandatory. Now, soon I have some intel, or I have some analysts, I would say, not intel, wherein I believe that soon a property register will be made. Now, unique identification number of every property is being done. So soon your property will be tagged to your Aadhaar card. Now, with Aadhaar card, your bank is tagged, your property is tagged, your pension, your bank, your insurance, everything has started going tagged to Aadhaar card. And more than 95-98% of the people in India have Aadhaar cards. So when you have this Aadhaar card, and with the artificial intelligence and the softwares, we can do the linkage. It is now very easy to do the linkage. Even now, your voter card has to be tagged with the Aadhaar card. Sir, I will give you this news. A lot of people will not be aware. Your voter card has to be tagged with Aadhaar card. You cannot have let's say my Aadhaar card says Sumit Peer. I cannot have a voter card in Sumit Kumar. It will not work. So Sumit Kumar and Sumit Peer has to be tagged, right? If I can tag it with my Aadhaar card, then only my voter card will vote. So in a very subtle way, the government of India under Modi ji is doing a lot of things which people are getting frustrated with. Matlab na, aag lag rahi hai. They're sitting on the hot plate now. They know where it is going to lead. With the artificial intelligence and softwares there, you know, it will take you minutes to get those suspectable, questionable, unaccountable cases out. So where the cases are out, your job is done. So let's say I'm talking of 1.4 billion people. 1.3 billion people or 1.25 billion people, no questions. It's all tagging up. The software says everything is okay. Now they'll be left, let's say, 0.1 billion, right? Where you can see there's some lafda, they need clarification and all that. Now, these are the people who will be questioned. These are the people who will be examined. Now, honestly, with the more and more Aadhaar cards and all getting, you know, entrenched into the system. And here I want to make one point. There's a difference between an Aadhaar card and the fake Aadhaar card. Fake Aadhaar card is where you only get it printed. You know, literally, it's like a nakli note. You get it printed. So you're just trying to show one and get away with. But when you go back to the database and all, it doesn't have. I recently went to a bank. I had to get my registered mobile number changed of one of my accounts. You know, earlier I could do it online. I tried online, it didn't. It said, okay, it's done. It didn't happen. I waited this. I called customer support. They said, it's done. It will happen. Then finally, I called my relationship manager. I said, Bhaiya, what happened? He said, sir, you have to go to the bank. She said, you will not believe me. I had to go to the bank with my wife. She's a joint account holder. We had to give you the Aadhaar card, PAN card. They made us sit there. They took a picture and they make us do a biometric there. Once my and my wife's biometric was approved, then they filled the form. They called my new number. They noted the time. They took the snap. They did everything. And when it happened, then within 7 days, the mobile number changed. I'm telling to tell you one thing. So it is how the system is enhancing. With every day, it is getting enhanced. Now you have to go and do a biometric at the bank. And biometric is not with the bank. It connects to a government site where it will approve that I am Sumit Peer. This is my biometric. Then this approved Sumit Peer. I have Aadhaar card. I have PAN card. I'm a customer for years. No, it doesn't matter. I have to go to the branch and do the biometric. What I loved that day was I could see where it is going. I could see where it is going. Today, to do a census, honestly, Shri sir, honestly, swear to God, you need just handheld device. अच्छा भैया क्या नाम है तुम्हारा? सुमित पीर. यहाँ अंगूठा लगाओ. खत्म. आधार कार्ड है ना, अंगूठा लगाओ. This will come to know आधार कार्ड असली है, आधार कार्ड नकली will come to know. And when you feed it into a software which is AI based, it will take out everything in minutes. It will throw out, is this Sumit Peer genuine or is from somewhere who has come in and is disguised as Sumit Peer. So you can easily make out those things. Now with the advent of technology, these things are done. So the time has come. You see, 5 years back, 4 years back, when we were talking about NRC and NPR, there were a lot of issues. technical issues where we could not do it. A lot of people don't understand in 5 years how much of ground have we covered. So where is the problem happening in India? Look, Delhi writes there were 8 Bangladeshis caught, right? In Aadhaar card, ration card, and the cards, they will get easy. No, I'm telling you, sir, it is not easy to get an Aadhaar card so easily in India today. Now, even if you get the Aadhaar card so easily, now when you put it in the software, those questionable cases will start going out, right? When the questionable cases will start going out, it will automatically flag you. Now, today, when you file an income tax return, there is no manual officer who looks into one by one return. When it's fed into the AI has this, AI that is the beauty of AI. AI will, based on the intelligence and the IoT data which is being given to it, AI will be able to, flag those suspectable cases to you. You have to only look at them. Rest 90% or 98% ye clean hai and there's nothing to. These are your 2% cases. Earlier, you have to look at all the 100% cases, which was impossible. Now, with the advent of technology, Aadhaar card, biometric, and all the things getting linked, the more and more things are getting linked to the Aadhaar. And eventually, the people who are born in the last 10, 12 years, now their birth certificate itself is linked to Aadhaar. They have a birth certificate number which is linked to the Aadhaar. So there is no way fudging can happen. But the people who are of like my age or older age or whatever, in that case, there are some challenges. But with the advent of technology and more things getting linked, the chances of catching these people is getting higher and higher. That is being what is done. So the need of the hour, what we raised through pre-Guru channel is NRC and NPR at a national level. Because Delhi writes Bangladeshis, Myanmar, we know Kukis, Rohingyas, Jammu problem, there were Rohingyas involved, Kashmir, Pakistani nationals involved. If your rights here somewhere, you will, even in Mewat, you will find, sir, even in Mewat, you will find there will be Rohingyas, there will be PFI, there will be Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and there will be all those notorious organizations, and some of them will be foreign nationals who should be involved. So the notion in our countries, if you look like Indian and if you can speak Hindi, you are Indian. No, it's not Indian. That's why I told you, by that logic, Seema Haider, bhi to Indian hai na phir. She can speak Hindi, she looks like you and me. Is she Indian? No. I have been warning on one thing again and again, enemy agents do not look alien. So there is a complex things, there's a complex mechanism where we are consolidating, conquering, and moving ahead. Things are getting done at a level where things are happening. Center shows illegal it is for those who are law and practice. After NRC and NPR will center will center throughout illegal immigrants and all. You see, already in UP, Yogi Adityanath ji has, I think, retained more than 800 Rohingyas. The work is happening. Hemant Biswa Sharma ji has already started.
8,000, Sirji. 8,000.
Sorry, Mr. Zero. So, they have been started retained. So it is not, things are not happening, my friends. Things are happening. You have to pick and choose your wars. You only go to a war when you are ready. Don't go to a war when you are not ready. When Modi ji said NPR NRC abhi nahi hogi, there was a reason why he said that. Because you can't go half-baked and come out, then it will be a complete mess. Today, how are we able to identify these people? This is how we are able to identify these people, right? We are in initial stage of NRC and
NPR.
Correct. You see, this is what is going to happen. Now, Birendra Singh ji, even the Nagas have demanded even the Mizo people, all our tribal, brothers and sisters and all our Northeast brothers and sisters have demanded this. You don't have to paint the Northeast into a black color. It's not about Northeast. You have to identify these, miscreants. Who are these responsible? And the cabal will exactly work. Look, G20 is happening. Rana Ayub is activated. Jewish, some people will say, oh, Jews are persecuted, Christians are persecuted, Muslims are persecuted. So this, you say, sir, I hope, and at times I hope and pray I get wrong. If you look at our long hangout, we have predicted this, sir, exactly line by line. Ye hoga, you wait and watch, this will happen. I told you that time of amount, you might see something happening around NCR. Take out the last video and you will see my words. I had predicted something might happen around NCR. I'm telling you, wait and watch for South. Already some suspicious characters have been seen with some political leaders in South. Some suspicious characters have been seen with some political leaders in South. So, these things are shaping up. Already these things is being done. So, need of the day is NRC and NPR. We have to give our certificates, we have to give our papers. Paper hai to theek hai, otherwise prove your identity. You can appeal to the affiliate courts and all. If you can prove your identity, it's good. If you cannot, then you don't belong to this country. by looking same and able to speak Hindi like me and you, that doesn't make you Indian. Sorry. No, it doesn't work like that. This notion has to go. This notion has to go. And now the question is, when the same lady, our sister, Meites sister, was called questioning NRC and NPR, she questioned these opposition leaders. Will you support NRC and NPR? Sannata. Zero bata sannata muband. Nobody answered anything. When it comes to national interest, they will not answer a question. Will Congress support NRC? Will I.N.D.I.A support NRC and NPR? No. In fact, today the alliances, crack in the alliance is already visible. TMC had said we want to talk about Mizoram. Rest are at it. Yesterday, Sharad Pawarji was seen with Modi ji in Pune. You must have seen all that. So the cracks are already there. Uddhavji is very unhappy. Why is Sharad Pawarji share with Modi ji? So the cracks are already visible, which we have predicted. This alliance will not last. Now, when it comes to hardcore core Hindu rights and Indian interests, why these people are turning the blind eye? What is the problem, bhaiya? Are you worried your board banks will be eroded? Are you worried that your thing will dwindle? Are you worried that your vote banks which you have cultivated by Jugaad, they will go out? But trust me, PFI was taken out when one single strike. One day, these all illegals will be also taken down, but you have to wait and watch. It's not a Bollywood movie कि 3 घंटे में फैसला हो जाएगा. Within 3 hours, it's not Pathan by any chance. So don't benchmark it against Pathan. This doesn't happen in real life. And it's not 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪 where a Pakistani ISI agent will fall in love with you and she will fight for your country. Oh, come on, man. Give me a break. I'm tired of this BS in India. Unfortunately, this happens. So with these things happening, you have to be patient. You have to watch out what the government is doing. It will be done. I can assure you it will be done. NRC and NPR is the only way out for this country to survive. Because the infiltration is happening from everywhere. Vote bank politics is everywhere. These people who go on a political tourism are not willing to discuss the women of Rajasthan, the women of Chhattisgarh, the women of West Bengal. They are only able to write, even the women of Manipur, the Meites sisters, they are only talking about the cooking. Why this? Why you are not letting the parliament function? Why you are not talking about NRC and NPR? What is your objection on NIC and NPR? When Modi ji was trying to get in this Aadhaar card, what was Mr. Chidambaram's objection about infringement of privacy? Even they are fighting that. They are going to the Honorable Supreme Court and saying 370 was a permanent provision. Do you believe it? Do you beat it, Mr. Kapil Sibal saying it was a permanent provision? Now the Chief Justice of India had to really whack him through and said, what are you talking about? I mean, if this is the level where the people can go, somebody cannot pay your aloo piyaj by digital money. Instantly, I'm a great fan of street food. When Sri sir was talking to me, I stopped by. I had golgappes and paid some 30 rupees by my Paytm. I always do that. So these people live in a cocoon. They don't want people to come into the mainstream. But what is this? You will also wonder why I'm bringing this example. Now, if I use Beam, by the way. I don't use any other app. So when you guys use Beam, Beam has my Aadhaar card, Beam has my bank account, Beam has my PAN card, everything is linked. And when I do the payment, everything is linked. So this interlinkage of the systems is how you strengthen the system. It's like I have a loose hand here, right? If I do it like this and make it like this, now imagine the power of this and imagine the power of this. That is what is being done systematically and gradually, which the eye is not seeing. When we are ready with the his, what are we going to do? We are going to do this. Marenge hathoda at the right point of time, right? At the right point of time when we are ready. That is where the agenda is. Problems like Manipur, problems like Mizoram and all will happen. I am telling you, friends, my brothers and sisters, the plan was, and will be chicken neck. Was, and will be chicken neck. Take my word. I'm serious on it. It will be chicken neck because the Sharjil Imam had already spilled the beans. He talked about chicken neck long back. They did not anticipate that, the things will spill out. The Kamal is out in the open and they are trying to kind of bring our country down. We have to fight it together. We have to stay united and we can do it. And don't get carried away by what is not. And, one thing I would like to request you. We always think, mere ghar se to bahut dur, it is very far away from my house. It will not happen. When COVID started, what happened? When COVID started, my brother, my sister, what we saw one case in Madhya Pradesh, one case in Kerala. It started by Kerala, by the way, or one case in...
Yeah, people came from Midwest. Middle East. People came from Middle East with the COVID. Yes.
When it started from Kerala, what was my notion? Arey, I live in Delhi, yaar. Kerala is so far away. Arey, kuch nahi hoga Delhi. Nothing will happen in Delhi. I got COVID too. Everybody of all has got COVID or got infected to the virus. So it is like COVID. It will catch up with you if you let it live. If we want to kill it, we have to get the vaccination done. What is the vaccination? NRC and NPR is the vaccination. We have to get it done. We have to cooperate. We have to get together, and we have to all demand it, sir. We all must demand it together. This is the only safeguard against this deadly virus. Do not think when it hit Kerala, living in Delhi, I thought Delhi to nahi aayega. How will it come to Delhi? I'm too far away, right? This is the notion. Somebody living in a village in Rajasthan said where there are only 10 villages, 10 houses in a far-flung village in Rajasthan. They said it will not reach. Somebody lives on an icy mountain of Ladakh. He said, how will it reach there? Did it reach there or not? It reached everywhere. This is what is happening right. So before we let it go, before we walk into this political minefield, before we get into this political tourism, my friends, my brothers and sisters, NPR, NRC is the way out. Our friends, our brothers and sisters of Northeast are demanding it. Let's not call it for Northeast. Let's call it for the whole country. Why? What is stopping us? Why not whole country? Are we waiting for a disaster to happen? Are we waiting for Mewats to happen everywhere and Manipurs to happen everywhere? Incidentally, both start from M. So what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? मतलब हमने मुहूर्त ढूंढ रहे क्या? What are we waiting for? The movement has to be a civil movement. It has to be a people's-led movement. You all have to say, sir.
So, Sumitji, I think we have posed the question, and we also asked the opposition, what is your stand on NPR and NRC? Why has the cat got your tongue? And this is where things stand now. And Sumitji, you have an announcement to make, and then we can take the Q&A.
Sure. Friends, this is about the advisory and consultancy services which offer on the public demand. There's an ID called sumitpeer@gmail.com. I do it in a couple of fields to help my friends and brothers to excel in life, business, and wherever. So if you are interested, kindly drop a mail to us, and then my team will get back to you. So it's live, confidential, and you can be anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter, online in nature. Thanks. Let's go to
Thank you so much, sir. And let's take up some questions now, please. Rahul Rathod wants to know, this government always disappoints its core supporters. They are unable to handle even Puncture rioters. This is happening every time now. Even with mandate, they are unable to protect Hindus. Your views?
Rahul ji, my brother, I would like to urge you, exactly this is where the danger is. When you are running a 1.4 billion population, when you are the 5th largest economy and your aspirations to become number 2, and eventually number 1. So for Prime Minister Modi, the priority is geo-economics. For the state governments, the priority is law and order and other things. You have to tread a very, very careful path. If you start becoming, like Pakistan, so don't mind my saying like Pakistan, you will become like Pakistan. So it is a check and balance. These are not rights, sir, Rahul ji. These are foreign forces. These are international cabal. These are people within who are at work to stop this. Understand? Let me tell you, brother, directly today. Today, yes, there are compulsions. Manta hu main, there are compulsions. Let me not name them because that won't be fair. I don't represent the government. But what I can tell you, when you are $8 to $10 trillion economy, there are no compulsions. When you cross 10 trillion, everything will evaporate. The way we are making our weapons, the way Indians are capturing the whole world, with the soft power and with their zeal and with their karma, and the way economy is growing. After 10 trillion, no questions asked. Nobody can dare to poke a nose in your affairs. You have to reach that stature. Else you will become like Pakistan, which we will only say, Inshallah, Alhamdulillah, Mashallah, and start there and end there. With due respect, I don't want to demean anything, but that is what has, kind of ended up Pakistan and where they are. So don't have this notion. There are people who are trying to put this in your head. Understand, this is an international cabal at work. What are my hangouts about, brother? My hangouts are to tell you how I'm able to predict things much advance, months in advance. I told you this will happen. This is exactly happening to, exactly line and scale. How? You have to understand geopolitics. You know how it will happen. I'm not in touch with Mewat Dangais or, these Manipur cookies by no chance. How do I know? Because I can see the trends. I know what will they hit at next, because this is what I do for the whole day. Next question.
Next question, please. Mr. Bharani wants to know, with you on sending the illegal immigrants out, but how do we make sure our citizens aren't deported by mistake? With people having access to unique ID, how can we differentiate the illegals?
Sir, Mr. Baniji, what will happen? It is not a manual process. The notion which is in our mind is that we'll go everybody by paper dikha and all that. So when we put the data in the AI, I think something is already done in the backend. I don't know what. Don't ask me what. Something is already done in the backend. What I know, I can tell you this much. With all this information, you are already able to. Let's say I have 1.4 billion. To my knowledge, maybe today, even if I talk to 1.1, 1.2 billion, there's no questions asked. They're all clear and clean. You have to only concentrate on 0.2 billion. Bas. उन पे देख. There you have to find पेपर भी दिखाने पड़ेंगे, देखने भी पड़ेंगे, चेक भी करना पड़ेगा, करवाना भी पड़ेगा. So, it's only where these questionable cases are, is only these people where the credentials are not matching up. Let's say today, for some reasons, somebody doesn't have an Aadhaar card, doesn't have a PAN card, is living under the radar. Why? Can you imagine somebody living without a PAN card and Aadhaar card today and able to operate a bank account? Why were Jandan accounts open? Because with these 50 crore Jandan accounts which you opened, you have got 50 crore PAN cards also into your system. 50 crore Aadhaar cards also you have captured in your system. And you are monitoring those accounts. What is happening within those accounts? So when NIA is carrying so many raids at different points of time and catching so many people, something is working somewhere. It is not on hunch, it is not on khabri only. Khabris and hunch is also very important, but something is also systematic driven. There are tools like big data, Hadoop. They are meant to do this job. They are exactly meant to do this job. And we have access to all the IT and technology. You see how many returns we filed in one day, 2-3 days back. That was a record. I think in last few hours we did 16 crore or some returns, which is, I don't know how many, I might get the number wrong. But there was suddenly so many logins we could handle at one point of time, which is again a record. So things are improving, but the change does not happen in a day. Rome was not built in a day. That's what I can say.
Next one, please. 𝙒𝙗𝙬𝙤, formerly Tony Stark, also known as Iron Man. Number one, can we expect UCC bill at least in the winter session? एक लेते हैं.
Sir, देखिए, हेगड़े जी, the bill I told you can happen before 24 or after 24. I think my hunch says before 24. That is why the cabal is so much rampant. It will happen before 24. That is what my hunch says. But I can assure you one thing, Hegde ji, the bill will come. 101% will come. Last time somebody asked me, when will the civil services reform come? I said 2025 likh lo. Not 24. It will come in 2025. So UCC will come. It has to come. Its time has come. Now it is for the government to position it, looking at various political, geopolitical, socio-economic, and all the parameters have to be kind of weighted, watched, and at the appropriate time you have to get it in where there's minimal friction. 35A 370 kiya na, but you did it when you were ready, when you wanted to do it, when you could get it through, not when they wanted you to do it. There's a difference. I will do it if I want it to be successful when I see it is the right time. If I go by their version, they will want me to do when they think it is the right time for them to scuttle it. That's where the paradigms are. Second part is
about the failure of state intelligence in the Haryana riots in Mewat. You may want to just touch upon that.
We'll talk on the anchor. It is much beyond that, sir. It is much beyond that. We have a hangout on that.
Also, Iron Man, join us back in about half an hour's time. We are going to have a discussion in depth about Mewat, and in that we are going to discuss a lot more details. So to join us back on that one. Let's go on to the next question, please. Abhay wants to know, why not integrate Burma into India? Arey kyun yaar? Go ahead.
Kaiko chahiye bhaiya? Why do we need? We already have a lot of land, a lot of people. We don't want anybody. We don't want anybody. We are ठीक. Today is Even by chance, if you send this one message to Pakistan, bhai, you know what will happen? Shahbaz Sharif दोड़ता हुआ आएगा. He will come running in a chaddi. अरे कर लो 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 मोदी जी कर लो. अरे भाई, we don't want to.
We are creating in Australia every day. You don't need more people. This is enough. Veeraraghavan Srinivasan wants to know, do we think on recent riots would reduce majority to NDA? In my opinion, we have to implement CAA, NRC and UCC with iron fist. I know it is easy to say, but we have to do it. Your thoughts?
Sir, can't agree more with you, because I don't think that will rights will reduce majority to NDA. No, it will not happen. You have to wait and watch. What I can predict right now is in 2 weeks, no, 21 to 25 days, mark my words, 21 to 25 days, we'll be again on P Gurus, and we'll talk of a major action which would have happened out of this. What? Can't talk about it. When? I told you the time frame, 21 to 25 days from today.
Sounds good.
And CA, NRC, UCC, बिल्कुल चाहिए sir. 101% चाहिए. कोई doubt नहीं है sir. There is no doubt do we need it or not. It is a compulsion, no longer an option. We have enough troubles, and the cabal is not going to let us live and breathe freely. You cannot become a world power, and they will just wait and watch. हाँ आ जाओ भैया, world power बनो, हमारे बाप बनो. Nobody will let you become a baap. They will do everything, Sam, Dam, Danda, Ved, to bring you down, and that is exactly what is happening.
Actually, you're going to see a very in-depth discussion about the Club of Rome, which is the default deep state, at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning with a new guest, 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪, and he has done a fantastic work reading the CIA report that was released, I think, in the 1990s. We are going to discuss about that you will see all the different players, how they mingle, how they try to manage the world, unipolar world. So do join us for that also. And now let's take the next question. GCS wants to know how to get rid of illegal immigrants if their number comes to over 1 crore.
Not a problem. What 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪 said, sir, 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪 has said, you should welcome people who are in distress. You should help them, but not keep them in your population. Give them a separate piece of land. India has so many islands. Send them to island, khana do, pina do, and in due course of time, when they are ready, let them countries go back. Let them find asylums in everywhere in the world, and whichever country wants to take them, let them take them. By that time, give them humanitarian aid and help, but don't let them mix with the population. That is the key. Can put them in a far-flung island, 2 island, पे रख दो, कोई problem नहीं है. रहो, खाओ, पियो, वहीं से निकलो. So that is what the Acharya Chanakya said. He was very clear on that. He never said we should not help. We should help. As Sanatanis, we should help, but not let them intermingle with our population. That is the key, sir.
Krishan Maya wants to know, Sumiji, there are thousands of illegal Bangladeshi Muslims and Myanmar Rohingyas Muslims. Most are there in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. How to drive them out? All 3 CMs support them for vote.
Yeah, this is a very important question, Mayaji, what you have raised, and it doesn't have easy answers. But the moment you are able to identify them as suspectable, suspicious, and national security threats, what will happen? Next thing, what will happen is the moment you identify them, you will know there is a suspicion and they are national security threats. Now, for these CMs to keep these national security threats and say we are not acting will not be politically right, because the things will be out in the open. So it's a matter of time. They will have to act. They will act. Else, there are options. National security threats can be handled at the national level. You may not need them to necessarily handle at the state level. They need to be handled at the national level also. These don't have easy answers, but that doesn't mean there are no solutions. Difficult questions have different answers, but difficult answers doesn't mean no answers.
Next question, please. How's it going? Wants to know. I hope you would have read about the recent killing of a 5-year-old girl by an immigrant in Kerala. Kerala is a safe asylum of illegals in India. It's a grave threat.
You are absolutely right. These things are happening, and girl was unfortunately even raped and killed. 5-year-old girl, and I can go on and all, but this is a very emotive subject. What I can tell you, sir, There are a lot of things which come in the media. There are a lot of things which don't come into the media. So do not only count what comes into the media. What doesn't count into the media, we don't know what is happening and where all it is happening. And as I told you last time, there have been areas, where you have been given a notion. The biggest facade, the biggest lie, the biggest mirage, the biggest dokha, dakosla illusion, and optical mirage that was created in India was 370 and 35. Kuch nahi kar sakte. But when push comes to shove, Mr. Amit Shah revoked it in 7 minutes in Parliament. Tak, 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 or there. If that can be done, everything can be done. But it is not a Bollywood movie, and for the TRP of news channels and others, you cannot act. It's not a Call of Duty game. You shot a bullet, I'll shoot 3 bullets. It will happen at the right point of time. Agencies are doing their job. Government is doing their job. You have to wait and watch. It will happen. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things are happening as we talk. I told you 21 to 25 days. Wait and watch for that.
Thank you so much, Akira Chingsubam. Satya wants to know, Pranam, we spend billions on defense technology like Rafales. Why don't we spend money to upgrade on internal security, empower police more than latest technology, counter riots?
Satya ji, I limitedly have an agreement with you because the internal security budget needs to go up, as I have been very clearly having a point of view. My point of view is very straightforward. A nuclear triad, which are only 4 countries in the world, cannot be win from an external enemy. Nobody from external can come and win you as a Hogani, right? So they will try to break you within. There will be a time you will see the internal security will have equal budget to a defense budget or slightly less or more. Their times are coming. But beyond the budget, it's not about money. You have to get the fundamentally laws in place. I have always demanded something like a Patriot Act. I have divided NRC, UCC, NPR. I have demanded nationwide ATS. I have divided nationwide STF. Just get these 5-6 things in place. I will count you on my fingertips. UCC, NRC, NPR, एक ही बात है. UCC, NRC, NPR. You have this nationwide ATS, nationwide STF, and you have this Patriot Act. Just get these 5 things done. Then what you can do with 100 million, today you might not be able to do with a 1 billion. But then 100 million will give you much leverage when you have these things in place than what a 1 billion can give. Because ultimately it's the laws. It is how empowered the agencies are. There was a time, CBI was denied permission by state governments. I don't want CBI to come here. Remember?
Even now, Tamil Nadu just rejected. Yeah.
Correct. I don't want to see. But when it comes to NIA, you cannot stop NIA. What is NIA? NIA is empowered by the law. So the first thing, these 4-5 things have to be put in place. Then money comes later, sir. And India has ample money. Don't worry about money. We have enough money to handle it. We need, and the 6th thing, sorry, I'm forgetting to mention. We need police reforms. But without the laws in place, you cannot do the denting painting when the engine is old. So when you renovate your car, you renovate the engine and then you do a denting, painting, rubbing, polishing, everything. But we can't talk about rubbing, polishing, denting, painting, and the engine is there. So when we do all this, and along with the police reform, and let me tell you, let it be Tamil Nadu police, let it be UP police, let it be Maharashtra police, let it be Haryana police, they are all competent. And let it be Punjab police. Punjab police could wipe out terrorism under KPS Gill. Don't think any police of India is incompetent. Sabko kaam aata hai. They all know how to get the job done. But it depends on the political will. If the political will is there are some problems here and there, but our guys know how to deal. You must trust them. It's not they are incompetent. It is the political.
Pawan Kishore wants to know, can we have a reconciliation commission like in South Africa to bring right, left and center to a table to correct the history of India so next generation gets correct info?
Interesting question, Pawanji. There is only one history here. Right doesn't mean right. Right to me means correct. Right winger to Hitler tha na. Nationalists are not right wing. Nationalist is the correct thing to have. You are a nationalist, that is in your heart and core and blood. So there is no need for a reconciliation commission. Do in Rome as Romans do in Italy as Italians do in America as Americans do. The people who have come here, they have to get amalgamated into the culture of the land. By religion, you can be a Muslim, but by culture, you have to be Hindu. By religion, you can be a Christian, but by culture, you have to be Hindu. So that is where the problem is. It's a typical problem of clash of civilizations. Right? When you go in US and all, 90% of life is like American, right? You adapt to that American lifestyle. That is how the US works. You cannot go and demand Sharia in America. It doesn't work like that. So some people are demanding. So these things are, this is a mindset you are following. It's not a discussion, it's not a debate. It's a mindset, and mindset will not die till the time the concept of jihad and ittifada is sustainable. The day you tell them or make them clear the concept of jihad and ittifada is not sustainable, it will automatically go. But are you strong enough to send that message? When a teeny mini Israel can send that message and the whole of the Middle East shivers, you have the answer. You have the model. You have the yogi's model. You know how it works. I'm being direct, blunt, and upfront here. That's the reality of life.
Thank you, Anshu. He wants to know Congress MLA comment on Adivasis in Jharkhand.
Sir, Congress is infamously famous for shooting itself in the foot. I mean, one of the Congress ministers, when asked recently about the rape in Rajasthan, he said, yes, we're number one rape in Mardon ka Pradesh. Rajasthan to Mardon ka Pradesh. I mean, this is on media. I'm not casting aspersions. If that is the mindset, most dangerous thing is not an organization, is not a weapon, is not an RPG, is not even ICBM, is the mindset. Yahan problem hai, yahan lafda hai, chemical locha yahan hai. You are able to control this, you will control all the actions. Unless and until you control the mindset, you cannot control the things. You have to start controlling the mindset. It's a game of the minds now. Tools will change. With time, the tools will change. But if you are able to control the mindset, you are able to control everything. If you are not able to control the mindset, the things will change. What is happening in US? Somebody picks up a knife and starts stabbing. What is happening in UK, for example? Somebody picks up a knife and starts stabbing people. Somebody buys a gun and starts shooting people. Well, where is the problem? They say gun culture. No. It's the mindset which you're fighting here. Right? I mean, how do you control these people with the gun? Osama bin Laden thought he can bring down America by bringing down 2 towers. And the rest is all history. You all know what happened after that. It's the mind where the problem is, not the actions.
Next one, please. Gurkha Sunil wants to know. Thank you, Sunil. SC has passed orders to not link Aadhaar. Your views?
Yeah, there are some orders, and I think there have been there is a review petition all which is being filed already on that. In my opinion, with due respect to the Supreme Court of India, I believe that Aadhaar has to be linked with everything. And as I told you, for the newer kids or the babies that we have in the country, which have now kids now, for last 8-10 years after Modi ji has come, there has been a fundamental change in the way we do it. But it will still take time. There's a lot of old baggage which we have to clear. And there will be legal hurdles. There will be things. I mean, if somebody can go, if Sibbal Saab can go to the Supreme Court and say 370 was permanent, so what else do I say, sir? Sunil ji, what else do I say? You go to stand in front of the Chief Justice of India and your argument is 370 permanent. I mean, by which imagination? Even if you live in Alice in Wonderland, it's a temporary provision of the Constitution. But somebody will go and say that is what lawyers do. Lawyers will go play their games, do this. But even if you get an order passed in the Supreme Court, Constitution has been amended so many times already, right? Why it can't be amended one more time? So as long as you have the majority, what is India about? I.N.D.I.A. That alliance I told you in that hangout is only about to stop Modi ji getting more than 400. Because if he gets more than 400 as NDA, he can amend the Constitution. They know when the Constitution is amended, game is not over. Now game is over till next 50 years. So this I.N.D.I.A is just formed to stop that 400 number form hitting Prime Minister Modi. That's the whole idea. He knows this man has the courage. If he can order surgical strike in 10 minutes, he can amend the Constitution. It has been done numerous times before. Let me tell you, it's not something which has not been done. So why in the national interest, if it is required, it cannot be done. If it is required, it should be done, and it will be done one day. So these people all get together. They're not for victory, sir. Now, with this question, you gave an opportunity. I told you that it's just to stop this man from getting 400 par, game R par. That is what the game is.
Next one, please. Thank you so much, Hari Narasimhan, for your generous contribution. And with that, we bring to a close today's session. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Like I said, we have another program coming up in a half an hour's time in Hindi, where we are going to look at some more details about Nu and Mewat and some other new information that is coming out. Also, tomorrow at 9 a.m. IST, We have a look at the deep state. It's full of data. It's going to blow your mind when you look at the linkages and the history of how a few try to control everything in the world. Thank you once again, Sumit ji, and namaskar.
She said namaskar, pranam, and Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.